Hi, this is kendfoster, and want to have a conversation with you today about upshifting your consciousness. Over the last 35 years, almost every single day, I've worked on this mind, this soul, this body, this life that I've created. And I've done it for one reason, and that is to connect deeper to my creator, to the love in my life, to be able to experience a life filled with joy, happiness, love, courage, wisdom, and understanding. And so I want to pass on a couple of thoughts I have around this. There's a higher consciousness movement out there. There are a lot of people just like myself who are doing what it takes to be the change that they want to see in the world, as opposed to going out there and trying to change things without any real wisdom built in. I used to be like that. And, I guess you kind of fake it till you make it at one point. But it's really important, I believe, to learn from mentors and wisdom teachers and those that have a true sense of enlightenment, where they've brought the light to the darkness, right? Where they've actually looked at themselves and made the changes that they need for themselves so that they can help others to do the same. So, what comes before the upshift of your consciousness, right? What comes before? Well, for me, and I think for a lot of you out there, it's there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of wondering if what's going on. Why is my world this way? Whether it's in relationship, you're having challenges in your relationships, whether it's in your finances or in your business or in your social circles. Maybe it's even in your spiritual life. You're feeling a sense of lack of purpose, lack of direction. You're looking outside and looking at the world. You're turning on the news. You're going, what is going on? I disagree totally with the political side of this, or I disagree totally with what this person is saying, that person's saying. And it gets very intense. It can get very confusing. There's a place where sometimes you're just triggered. I know, because I've been through this. You're triggered by what somebody says or doesn't say. You're triggered by what they do or don't do. And all of that is an opportunity for you, for me, for all of us to look at what is the triggers. What's triggering that consciousness? What's triggering, someone to overeat or use alcohol or use drugs or isolate themselves or have thoughts of leaving the planet, thoughts of suicide? What triggers that, right? Why I ask that is because we're all souls. We're all souls here. I'm not red. I'm not blue in the United States, right? I'm not, black or, I don't consider myself black or white or brown, or I don't consider myself that. I consider myself a soul who's connected to other souls. And we're all here doing one thing. We're growing, we're learning, we're evolving, we're becoming a better version of ourselves, hopefully. There are definitely forces of creation and destruction here. And right now, it seems like for some of us, we're looking at everything that's falling apart, whether it be in our personal lives or in our businesses or politically or in our environment, or, there's a lot of uh, uh, wealth is not necessarily distributed the way that we'd all like it to be, where, none of us are suffering, right? We all have the financial means to be able to create beautiful lives for ourselves, right? Giving opportunities that we can do that for ourselves and for our family members, right? And sometimes that's not happening. In fact, it's not happening a lot of times. Okay. So, right now there is forces things are changing. Things are being destroyed. They're being torn down. And we're like, what's going on? Well, I want to give you the good news. And the other side of that is it is changing. We're growing. We're developing into a beautiful society given the choice that we can create this society, it's not a happenstance. We're all participating in this creation. So my question to you today is, do you want to evolve your consciousness? Do you want to step into this new, the higher movement, higher consciousness movement, or do you want to stay where you are? I'm sure you're saying, I want to move up. Well, what does it take to move into that higher state? Well, I'm going to give you what I've experienced over the last 30 years of coaching individuals just like you, to whether it's in their business. I'm a business strategist. I'm a business coach. I help people with their business. But what I always find is that if you want to shift and grow your business, you got to grow yourself. It's that simple. If you want to grow your relationship, you got to grow yourself. If you want to grow your career, you got to grow yourself. If you want to grow your physical physique, you got to grow your mindset. You got to change the mind. Mind is over the emotion, right? What you think you feel. If you're feeling disempowered, you get stuck. You get stagnant. If you're feeling empowered, then you take great actions, and actions result in hopefully good results, and then that'll determine your destiny. It also determines our holotropic destiny, right? Holotropic. We're all connected, right? We're all connected. A few years back, the scientists were given the Nobel Prize for entanglement theory, realizing that what's happening in one place in the universe is happening in another simultaneously, right? Interesting.
Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Introducing Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact.
It is so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Strengthen and tone your legs, increase your mobility, flexibility, and balance. Plus, stimulate healthy circulation.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better. It makes me feel stronger too.
Perfect for home therapy. Whisper quiet to use while you work.
My circulation is moving, I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Call and get upgraded to the Deluxe Bundle. Get the faster motor or 5 miles of steps per hour, the step counter, the sport mat, and wireless remote. Call now.
What's happening inside of me is happening inside of you. Be the change you want to see in the world, and therefore you become others who are connected. We're all connected in consciousness. We're all connected actually to every little star and every little piece of stardust. Everything is connected. There is a oneness. There is a coherence in this universe. And when we reach coherence, what is coherence? Coherence is that place where we align with our nature, with our soul. And when we align with our soul, we have a sense of peace. We have a sense of love, of compassion, of understanding. We have wisdom that flows through us, right? It's, I think it was Einstein said that, you can't solve a problem with the mindset that created it. Well, how true is that? So if you have problems in your life, right, then what happens is they outpicture in other people's lives. They impact your family. They impact your friends. They impact all of us, right? So upshifting our consciousness is about expanding our awareness. One of the ways that I do that is through Kriya Yoga meditation. I learned that 3 decades ago. And it's learning how to clear the chakras, be able to take the energy, the prana, the life force, and take it into the higher realms of consciousness within those chakras. And why do we do that? Well, it's so that we can start to expand again our consciousness, expand our awareness. One of the things I do also is, so when I wake up in the morning, I tune into the YouTube channels of higher energy, higher vibration, right? You can just Google that. And there's music that's aligned with with alpha waves, right? Alpha waves. You want to tune into alpha or gamma waves because that's tunes us up. It's amazing how much energy one can get when their environment changes. I follow feng shui in our home. My wife has taught me that, and Marie Diamond, one of our favorite speakers, and he's been on my shows and she's been at our live events. She teaches feng shui. But it's about, what is feng shui? Feng shui is about learning how the energy flows within our home, within our environment. It was Nicholas Tesla that said, if you want to understand the universe, understand energy, frequency, and vibration. Well, if you could start to, when you walk into my home, you will feel it, right? If you walk into a sacred place, a place of wholeness or holiness, right? Wholeness meaning it has coherence in that space. It's aligned with nature. When you walk into it, you feel it, right? It's designed that way. It's not by happenstance. We design our home that way, right? We have pictures of living masters that vibrate in energy in our homes. We use specific, whether it's a specific incense or a frankincense, right? We use the frankincense, one of the highest level vibration incense out there. So we do this. We design our life so that we can be part of the solution. I know you want to be part of the solution. One of the ways that we can do this is really, this is kind of a funny way, but I'm going to tell you it's an awesome way. Learn to use ChatGPT or Genie or the AI apps, right? You can ask, for instance, yesterday I asked ChatGPT, give me a protocol for the highest energy that I can have waking up in the morning and feeling amazing, right? And it laid out a protocol. The cool thing for me was I looked at the protocol. It's a protocol I'm already using, right? I set intention before I go to bed. I turn off my TV and Bluetooth and all that before bedtime. I stop eating around 7. Not always, but I do a good job of that. I set my intention to wake up feeling alert, alive, feeling being a place of service to others. So there's a lot of these pieces that are in there. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to use it. I want you to start using those tools that we have available to step up and feel a higher sense of yourself. I'd say last decade was the me movement, allaboutme.com, right? Well, this decade, if we want to upshift consciousness, is really about the service movement. It's all about waking up and thinking about how we can be of service to our family, to our creator, to our friends, to those that come into our life, right? It's a shift in consciousness to our country, right? How can we be of service to one another, to our churches, to our communities, right? It's that question every day. I ask it every day. I hope you're asking it every day. And, there's an antidote. I want to say this. There's an antidote to what's going on in the world, okay? If you don't like what's going on, wouldn't you like the antidote to it? Well, the antidote is what I just said. It's about service, but it's also about you stepping into you in a greater way. Now, you, what I'm talking about is the big you. It's not the little you, not the ego you. It's the bigger you. It's that place where you can tap into this amazing energy, this prana, this life force that we all carry, right? But what stops that from expanding in us is this. I'm going to tell you what it is, right? So that you can let it go. It's our judgments. It's our criticisms. It's our anger. It's our stress. It's our disinformation and misinformation that we've taken on, okay? That stops the energy flowing outward in ourselves, right?
Hi, everyone watching at home. We're here to remind you that if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have live agents available right now to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Hi, I'm Gina Bellich, here with spokesman and TV personality Tom Mustin with us in the Help Center. So Tom, phones are really busy over there. Tell us what kind of calls you're seeing.
Well, Gina, first off, thank you for having me here in the call center with you. We always enjoy talking to the viewers and getting folks the compensation that they deserve. You know, we're seeing calls about all kinds of accidents, but the most common by far has been car accidents. So if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now. You'll speak with a live person. They'll answer any questions you have and tell you if you have a case and how much your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now.
Now, I have a free giveaway. You can go to my website at kendfoster.com. And if you scroll down on the site, there's a process called the release process. I give it away to everybody because I want you to get rid of any kind of old guilt or shame or remorse or judgments or criticism, anything that's underneath the surface. You can keep the memory, but I help you to let go of the energy around it, okay? And you can do this almost instantly, right? Well, a couple hours, 3 hours, whatever it takes. But we start with childhood and we move up to where you are currently. And I ask specific questions to help tap into your subconscious so that you can bring it to the surface, look at it, and make a conscious choice to release the energy around it. It's a simple process. I hope you'll take me up on it because it's free. And, the more people that can step into their power, their passion, their purpose, right, the more that we're all going to change collectively as a society. If you don't like what's going on in the world, that's okay. But be the change that you want to see in that world, as Gandhi said, right? Be the change. And you be the change by doing the hard work, okay? It's not easy to let go of habits that maybe you aren't empowering yourself. It's not easy to become conscious, really conscious and aware of our thoughts that we have every single day. It's not easy to hold those words that you want to say to somebody because you're upset or you're angry, okay? It's not easy to work out or go to the gym or take care of your body, right? It's not easy to read all the labels today so that you know what you're putting in your body. It's not easy maybe to turn off those shows that you love to watch, but they are really shows that might be entertaining, but are they entertaining or are they disempowering you? Do you feel enlivened when you turn it off? Do you feel disempowered? It's not easy being human, right? But we're here to be this amazing expression of who we are. And if you want to do that, then it's time to, as Leonardo da Vinci once said, isolation is the price of greatness. And the great sage Yogananda said, stillness is the price of greatness. You may have even heard me say that a few times on my show, but I wanted you to hear it and sink in. It's not about more information, right? If you need more information, you can use Google, right? But it's more about wisdom, right? That's what we're talking about. Tuning into yourself, tuning into the wisdom that I want you to have. And when we upshift, some people say, well, it's an upshift. When you upshift consciousness, it's an upshift to more tolerance in this world. Well, that's true, but it's also an upshift to love. See, love, I believe, I pause because I believe, it's more than a belief, it's a knowing. There's a love inside of all of us. And when we tune into that, it's not only about self-love, it's about loving everything that's here. And I know that's hard to do because we have to let go of judging everything to be able to love everything, right? We have to go to an unconditional place. We have to realize that as we upshift ourselves, that we do see things completely differently. When you can let go of your judgments and criticisms and critiques and stuff, what happens is like taking a dark pair of sunglasses off that you didn't even know you had on, because what's happening is you start to see things, I would say, from the eyes of God, right? You start to see things differently. How does God look at things, right? Instead of how does my ego look at things? There's a surrender to this process. I want to say also, it's when something's not working right, instead of getting frustrated and angry and moving into that place, what if you just surrendered it for a moment? Just stop, just pause. That's what I do. I just stop now. I pause and I tune into myself, the higher self, not the little ego, right? The ego thinks it knows it all, wants to do it all, can handle it all. It's not that place. It's a place where when stillness is within me and within you, we get the answers. We get a download through the surrender. That's how we change. We change, it's interesting. Has more information ever changed anybody? I don't know, maybe. But I do know what shifts everybody, and that's wisdom. And when we just stop for a moment and get clear and we tune into our own wisdom, wow, it's powerful. When I say our own wisdom, there's a collective wisdom. There's the Akashic records that my mentor, one of my mentors, Dr. Irvin Laszlo, has talked about. And it's the universal mind, or the collective mind, or the collective unconscious mind, as Carl Jung might say. But it's this place that is accessed by stillness. It's interesting. It's the fastest way to access it is through getting still. Now, you might access it while you're taking a shower and you get an answer to something you've asked a question about, 3 days ago, right? So you've asked and you received the answer. That happens too. But if you want to get clear and you want to get it quickly, learn to still the mind. Learn to let go of this busyness that's always going on in this mind, right? I want to say this. There's one other piece I want to talk about. And this is a piece to help us upshift our consciousness. I've been an entrepreneur for decades, and I've learned this, is that when I get this information or this idea of a new project or a new business, I've learned to take action around it, right? Even when it feels terrible, even when it feels like I don't know anything, I don't have any idea how to do this project. I think about coming into the media world, right? Where I went into radio and I went into podcast and I went into TV. I didn't know a clue about any of those processes in the beginning. I didn't know how to do radio, TV, podcast, didn't know that. But I knew this, that I had this download that this is where I wanted to be. What did it take for me to move in and learn about those different areas of media? Well, it was courage. And I want to talk about courage, because courage isn't what a lot of people think it is, right? Courage thing, people think, oh, somebody ran into a burning building, or they jumped out of a plane, or they did something extraordinary. Well, courage is very ordinary, and courage is something we all have. It's innate, it's within us, because courage is a feeling, it's an energy, it's a power, it's a force within all of us. But courage doesn't show up until we get outside of our comfort zone. That's the key. When you go into the unknown, that's when the courage shows up.
Hi folks, Joe Namath here. Did you know that I wear hearing aids? I love my hearing aids, and I am here to help you get a deal on the same brand I wear.
Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get MD Hearing's revolutionary Neo hearing aids for just $297 a pair. The Neo is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. with rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. And you can get 2 Neo hearing aids with a 45-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and free lifetime US-based support for only $297. The Neo is nearly invisible with its tiny in-the-ear canal design.
Call my friends at MD Hearing and get the over-the-counter hearing aids that I use for you.
Call now and get not 1 but 2 Neo hearing aids for just $297.
800-789-7885. Again, that's 800-789-7885.
So nobody has lack of courage, but courage is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you think you don't have it. So it takes us, no matter what level you are, if you're just starting out on this path, it may take courage to go out and go to a network meeting and meet new people, okay, or be in front of a group and do a TED Talk, or go to a Toastmasters meeting, or start a new business. It all takes courage, right? And it's an energy, though, that you have. So if you're at that level, great, start something new. But if you're, let's say a business owner, I work with business owners, they have 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, $100 million businesses. To get to any level, new level in a business, it takes courage and it takes surrender. You have to surrender first to the old way of thinking it and doing it. Most of the time you can tell if you are in a place where you need to surrender is because you're getting poor results. You think you keep driving or pushing it. You're not getting anywhere. You seem to be spinning in circles, doing the same thing over and over again. And you want to go to the next level. It takes a part of surrender to realize that you don't have in the ego mind what you need to know to be able to take it to the next level. You always have in the superconscious mind what you need to know to take it to the next level, but it's getting to that place. That's why people hire me as a coach, by the way. So many people have hired me to be able to help them to get out of their way and grow their businesses and grow their lives in great ways, because I teach them how to tune into that superconscious and be able to ask the right questions to be able to take their business and their lives to the next level. Some of you know I've written my last book was The Courage to Change Everything. Courage to Change Everything.us is where you can see it. The Courage to Change Everything.us or Courage to Change Everything.us, either way. And why did I write that book? Because I realized that we don't need wisdom here and there. We need it every day, every single day. And in that book, there's specific areas. There's There's about 35 areas of life and business in that book to help you to tune into your own wisdom. I give you the tools to do that so that you can tap into that superconscious mind, not the subconscious, superconscious, and you can get your own answers, right? If you're tuning into the subconscious, that's fine, but you're probably getting the same answers over and over again. And so you may want to go into higher states of awareness. We are a holotropic species, and I mentioned that earlier. And holotropic, we're all connected. Everything's connected. It's a whole universe. Everything is connected. So when you change your thinking, what's going to happen is your family is probably going to be impacted first. You'll probably notice that in your family or your friends. It's interesting because you're like, well, I'm changing. Well, why are they changing? Well, many reasons. Sometimes you take off your lens, a lens that you've been seeing through, and you see them in a different light. And when you start to see people in a different light, they start to act in a different way because you're no longer expecting them to be the way that they were. They start to feel connected to their own souls and expand what's possible for them. Sometimes it's a matter of you being able to just be in a different energy, a vibration, a field, right? And people, when they feel that energy coming from you, their energy shifts up too. I know you've had this experience. We're all empaths, right? We all empathic. We can all feel energy if we have the capacity, the potential to, if you start to be aware. Walk into a room, you might feel, oh, everything's tense in this room. Well, you're feeling that empathic piece of yourself, right? So we all have the capacity to, there's so many things that most of us don't talk about. We can be clairaudient, right? We can do remote viewing. We can tune into the minds of our families, right? Not in an intrusive way, but you can start to hear, like I said, clairaudient, what's going on in others if you just get quiet. We actually all have the capacity to do things as far-reaching as reading tea leaves, okay, or being able to see auras, being able to see energy fields. We all can do that. We can develop those skills, right? Why am I even talking about that? Because I want you to think about what your next step is for you. What is it that you want to do? I remember when I decided I wanted to see auras. It took me about 3 months, and I started studying about it, and I started tuning in. Had to get real present. I had to trust deeper. I had to get more present. I had to develop my listening skills, my I would say my presence skills, and eventually I was able to see auras. I never forget the first time that a lady showed up in my coaching space, and all of a sudden her whole chest area just turned green, bright green. I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden she started talking about things that she was really angry about, and all of a sudden it started to turn black. And I was like, whoa. So we all emit this energy, and we all have it, the ability to see that. Okay, my point is what? You don't have to go and make that your goal. But what my point is step into a greater part of yourself. That's my whole point here, right? Step into something that you think is impossible to do right now. Why am I even mentioning that? Because I want you to upshift your consciousness, and I want you to be able to become greater and greater part of the solution, to the awareness, to the self-understanding that's going on. As long as you're in a place of, I would say, judgment or criticism, in the outer world, right? That's happening on the inner world. Okay, you're judging, criticizing yourself. Some of you go, no, that's not true. We need judgment, criticism. Well, I think we need awareness. That's what we need. You need to be aware. You don't want to put your, head in the sand and pretend like there's nothing going on. But awareness has to do with you stepping into you and being able to see things in a different light, so that you can respond and not react, respond in a more calm and loving and a joyful manner, no matter what's going on. The most powerful leaders in the world are those that don't react. Okay. They respond. They have a filter, and they take a step back, right? When you take a step back, what does that mean in my world? It's that you get real present. You get really present to what's going on. And you take another step back, and you become the observer. You really tune into the soul. The soul's the observer. The soul is ever conscious, ever existing, and ever new bliss at that level, right? Think about that. Ever conscious, ever existing, ever new bliss. So if we're experiencing anything besides bliss consistently, then we got some work to do. That's all. It just says we got some work to do, right?
Are you ready to transform your life and get what you really want? Hi, this is kendfoster, and over the past 30 years, I've helped thousands of people change the course of their lives by doing one special thing daily. This is the foundation of my latest book, The Courage to Change Everything. It is the ultimate guide to awakening the transformative power within you to get what you want. In this book, I'll teach you exactly how to unlock your hidden potential, break through your limitations, and get what you want, no matter what's happening in the economy or things beyond your control. So why wait? Get your copy of The Courage to Change Everything right now at couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us. There's no risk to you. If you're not fully satisfied that this book has supported you in getting what you want, just to return it for a full refund.
So I believe that you have the ability to tune into the essential parts of yourself. I encourage you to do that. Create in your own life. Start to vision in your own life what this new upshift is going to be like for you and your family in the next 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Start to think about it. What is it that ask questions like, what is it that I like to experience consistently every day? And then ask, what is stopping me from experiencing that every day? Maybe you want to have more love in your life. There's something stopping it? Ask yourself that. Introspection is the key here. It's the key to stepping into a greater part of yourself. So I want you to look at whatever is preventing you from stepping into the greatest expression of yourself. What's preventing you? Okay. We talked about a lot of little pieces that could be, right? But for you to just get conscious of it, what's preventing me from upshifting my consciousness, from really stepping into a greater sense of myself, a greater sense of purpose, a greater sense of love, a greater drive? How do I wake up in the morning feeling energized and ready to go? Where can I be of greater service? Where can I step into and love deeper? Those are great questions, right? What's driving you today? What is it that you want to step into? What is that? Ask those questions. Tune into yourself in a greater way. And what's going to happen then is that you're going to move from a place of, I would say, not having the light that you like to a place of brilliant light. Some of us go along and, the light's out there, it's shining on us, but we have our hands over our eyes. We say, it's dark. All I can see is dark. Well, when we take off those lenses, and I told you what those were before, right? The lens of judgment, criticism, critique, anger, hate, guilt, shame, remorse. We take off that lens, we see things completely different. And when we trust, let's talk about trust for 1 second. Trust is the key element that's going to help you to shift in greater ways. Trusting yourself, right? Imagine if you really trusted yourself and you didn't doubt anymore your decisions, right? You didn't have 1 foot in, I'm going to do this, and 1 foot out, I'm not going to do this. You really had a sense of deep trust, deep understanding of who you are, and you had faith that the choices you're making are the right choices. What if you had that? I mean, really had that deep, deep inside of you. Well, we all have the ability to, there's a lot of people that run on gut instincts, right? And, gut instinct is another word for intuition, okay? And so, most people's intuition is undeveloped, right? It's maybe 30% accurate or 40% accurate. But what if your intuition was 100% accurate? Wow. Well, by doing what I'm talking about today, it's going to start you on a path to be able to increase your intuition, increase your trust, increase your courage. It takes courage to develop intuition, by the way. I remember when I was first developing mine, I'd get in the car with my wife, and she's very intuitive. Judy would say, go left. And I go, no, I know what's down that street. I don't want to go there. I'm going to go right. I know a better way. And every time I did that, well, it must have taken me 10 times because I was not a fast learner back then. But every time we run into traffic or an obstacle or something going on, right? And finally, I thought, well, Judy's intuitive. I think I'll listen to her. So, and I tested it. So she'd say, go left, and I want to go right. I just go left. We continue to do this, and this was not just driving in traffic. This was about what was going on in our world, in our life. How we dealt with everything from financial situations to people in our lives to family members. I just started listening to her, and I realized she has this deep intuition. I realized that, I need to start tuning in and paying attention to my intuition in greater and greater ways. And so I did, right? And so what happened is my choices got better and better. I started making better choices because why? I wasn't running on this ego that knows everything, has all the answers and solutions, and is always judgmental and always critical. As soon as I made the decision, a little criticism, if something went wrong. It's like, no, I don't do that anymore. I just tune in to this wisdom, this intuition, and I would say my intuition's probably around 80%. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm moving in that direction. I'm moving there. The intuition is 100%, and it's always there for me and for you. The thing is, it takes surrender, it takes trust, and it takes an understanding of what that little voice inside of us is actually saying. Is it our ego, or is it that soul that's speaking to us? And it takes work, like anything else, to develop it. But once you do, life gets better and better, right? Imagine, a baseball player, if he was 80% accurate at hitting balls, he would, he'd break every record that's in the league, okay? Quarterback was always 80%, throwing his football, right? Wow, he'd break all the records. Well, you can break all the records too. So it's a matter of surrender, trust, courage, tuning into wisdom, and putting yourself in a place where every day you're looking at what's working, what's not working, and what can you do to improve tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you'd like to find out more about me, you can go to kendfoster.com and get my latest book at couragetochange.us. And I hope you'll listen to our shows on the Heal It show and also the Voices of Courage show. Those are a couple of my shows. You can subscribe on YouTube to those shows at the TCN network, TCN TV network on YouTube. So I hope you'll do that. Thanks so much for tuning in, and have a joyful, blessed, blissful day.